In the last presentations, we have seen that humans have abilities that are more than explainable by the abilities what matter or chemistry has. In these presentations, we want to see what is that in the human being that is more than matter. Only when we know that element, we can give a clear answer where is disease coming from. Only when we know where thoughts are coming from, we can give the answer if thoughts can be the cause of disease or not. What we know for sure is that the brain cannot think. It is used for thinking, like we use our feet to walk, but they cannot walk. So what is that in the human and in the animal that proves that he is more than matter? And that is the spiritual needs. Spiritual needs cannot be chemically explained. Sometimes patients tell me that love is chemistry. And if it is so, then I ask them for the chemical formula of love. But there is no human being that gave me a formula for liberty or freedom, a formula for safety and security, curiosity and knowledge, understanding, orientation, loyalty, confirmation or reward, joy, harmony, righteousness and justice, truth, responsibility, morality, wisdom, recognition, appreciation, happiness, peace, and so on. How many chemical formula do we have for these items? Our reason tells us none. But we still have them. So we care for them, we need them. We cannot let go of them. So who in us asks for them? Because the brain cells cannot ask for them. Physical things understand nothing about the spiritual things. So there must be in the human and in the animal an entity that we call spirit that asks for these needs, that can evaluate them and can use them as power for itself. So this is my first evidence that we must have a spirit. The second evidence that we must have a spirit is the answer to this question: why does this lady water the plant? The answer is simple: because the plant cannot walk to the water. We can see in nature there is not one example where plants can supply themselves with their needs. These must be brought close to them that they can take them in order to use them. So plants have clear needs, but they cannot provide or supply them. They only can use them when they are there. Now we have in our human being feelings like hunger, thirst, fatigue, cold, sweating. These feelings show that the body is in need. Well, if the body could satisfy its own need, he would not need to ask them from someone else. Because in reality, only a spirit can feed a body with food, water, and oxygen. Our body, being like a plant, cannot walk to the water. If we can walk to the water, it is because the Spirit walks us to the water. It is because the Spirit makes us to go to grab our food, to give it to the body, that the body can use it. That's the second proof that we are more than plants, more than matter. And there's a third proof, and that is when a conflict arises between life and purpose. Now, usually there should be no conflict between life and purpose, because in order to fulfill purpose, we need life. But I have seen that there can arise a conflict. We will see later why this conflict comes. But when the conflict arises between what I can renounce to life or to purpose, then we can see that the humans are able to renounce life, but they are never able to give up purpose or their spiritual needs. Humans can renounce on food, but they cannot renounce on freedom or liberty. A short example of a young man who was 24 years old, and he had a girlfriend. She was 22 years old. But after a while, she left him, and he could not overcome that she left him alone. So he took his father's gun, invited the girl for a ride with the car and he killed her and himself. Why did he do that? Did he miss life or did he miss his spiritual need? I could observe in all my patient cases that what causes their disease was this conflict of not being able to fulfill the purpose which is fulfilled by the spiritual needs. I could see that the pyramid of Maslow was wrong because it is not filled with physical needs like Maslow did and a little bit on the top with spiritual. It's exactly the opposite. The pyramid is filled with spiritual needs and a little bit of the physical ones. So somehow we see the world upside down. And this we should correct. The human problem is not a physical one, it's a spiritual one. The cause for disease, I could see, was not a conflict to live, but a conflict to fulfill the purpose. So what is that in the human being that makes him to ask for the purpose more than for life?